Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, folks. Welcome back to another 2 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strange Bro Jim, and today we are going to be getting back into Pega development, studying for the certifications, and all of that. So, um, we got some video uploads to do later on tonight as well, and then of course we got Final Fantasy VII after that. The original, not the remake. Um, okay, so concerning Pega, so I've been working my way towards, uh, you know, attempting certification again, um, because I failed at once and never, um, uh, I always had a hard time trying to drive myself while I was working for another company to attempt it again. And they weren't necessarily helping too much either on it. So, or at least they weren't necessarily a driving force on it. Um, so that's what this is all about. That's what these videos are all about. This is my focus to continue towards learning and working towards getting the system architect certification. Um, so I am not an authorized training partner, and this is not an instructor-led training. So if you're feeling like you know you're going to be getting um, expert advice from me, then yeah, probably not. Um, I am not. Uh, this is not endorsed by Pega whatsoever. So this is just my own um, self-study in a way to try to get that certification for the system architect. Um, but I'm making these videos so that maybe someone else can also benefit from that study as well. So, um, if you feel like I am helping you in some fashion or another, feel free to let me know. I would love to hear um, that what I'm doing is having a positive influence to others. Um, but yeah, not an authorized training partner, not an instructor-led training. I would expect that if you did go through an instructor-led training, which bear in mind it does cost money in order to do the instructor-led training, and it's not exactly cheap. Um, you would get someone that knows Pega through and through and will help you learn everything there is to learn about Pega, will answer your questions about Pega, and will, you know, teach you in such fashion that you will pass your certification with flying colors. That's what I would hope. I don't really know. I haven't had an instructor, the Pega Academy instructor-led training in the past, so I can't give you any kind of positive or negative review of that, you know, from myself. Now, I have had some training through the company that I worked for, um, who is supposedly an authorized training partner, but we had some difficulties with him. We tried to ask him questions. He had a hard time trying to answer them. And it got to a point where a good majority of us was just focused on self-study versus listening to what he was saying, you know, uh, to the point where, he even brought in someone else to like continue the study sessions. So it it boggled my mind the fact that they were paying them as an authorized training partner, but he brought in someone else to train. So, needless to say, my batch wasn't really that happy with him. Um, his coworkers were having some issues with him. Why they didn't put us back into the loop to try to train again, I don't really know, but oh well. It is what it is. Um, they wanted to make money off of us as quickly as possible. So, um, that's who I am. That's where I stand. Now, concerning what's happening in the next couple of days, um, you know, let's go to my dashboard here. There we go. We finished off the first two missions of the system architect, which is the same first two missions as the business architect. Okay, these two missions are the same. Okay, so hence the reason why you see 21 hours remaining here and 2 hours remaining there. So, needless to say, we got quite a bit completed already. You can look back on the um, playlist that I've created already, so that you can study those sessions that we had in the past. Maybe you can get some additional information out of it. Maybe, um, hopefully you can, um, you know, maybe I'm providing something to you to help you through, learning for the certification. Um, but we'll see. Um, Now, uh, the business architect, as you can see, is 90% complete. Okay, what I'm doing right now is that because we completed the two missions here, there's only two modules left for the business architect. So what I'm doing is I'm going into the business architect and I'm completing the last remaining two modules here. And then we'll go and do the mission test for the business architect. So, so that's the plan. There's various topics in these two modules that we will cover. We've Yesterday we did Pega Express Delivery Explained and Pega Express Best Practices. So today we're going to go over the phases of Pega Express and then we'll do the module quiz at the very end. So um, I was talking a little bit about um, my misconceptions about Pega Express. So it's something that I'm gonna have to work on so that I don't get thrown off when I do take the module quiz. The full business architect mission test, and you know I do have the potential plan of taking the um, business architect certification as well. Okay, it's not something that I would. Um, it's not something that I would want to do. Um, seeing that my desire is more on the coding side of things than the business side of things. So, um, you know, I have I don't really have an interest in learning the finer details of, you know, finances or something along those lines. I don't really care too much along those lines. For example, right? You know, I want to learn the best possible ways of, you know, learning algorithms, handling the code, What's the best way of, handling a coding situation? That's my interest. That's what I would be interested in. Okay. Am I the best at it? No. I mean, there are smarter coders out there than me. I will definitely admit that. Okay. But it doesn't necessarily stop me from wanting to learn, from them, on how to be a better programmer. So, um, so yeah. Um, so let's go ahead and get started on phases of Pega Express. All right. So phases of Pega Express phases. Why even bother with this? um, okay. Pega Express is divided into 4 phases that align with typical project lifecycle. The phases are discover, prepare, build, and adopt. We saw that from the video that was shown um, in the previous topic. The following image demonstrates the benefits of the 4 phases. What is Pega Express? Design focused, leverages design thinking through design sprints. Quick and light, and guides business experts. Seamless and easy, design right in the platform using easy configuration. Balanced, balance using business benefits, efforts, and user experience. Um, okay, this is a little irritating to me because um, you have 4 here. Why are you kind of renaming it over here? You know, design focus discover. It's like, all right, I don't know. It's um I get that the um this is a very simplified version of what this is basically saying. But, at least put discover here, prepare here, build here, adopt here kind of thing. So, I don't know. That's, you know, but they color coded it, so I mean, it's okay. Just it's odd. Design thinking for fantastic experiences. Prepare setting up for success. Build rapid configuration of business capabilities and adopt, go live, and achieve your goals. So, what is Pega Express? Design focused, leverages design thinking through design sprints. Why are they repeating this? The first 2 is a complete repetition of what's above. And this is even a repeat of what's above. What's the purpose? Why? Change it up if necessary. Oh well. The following image shows the 4 phases and the key deliverables of each. Pega Express, what to do and when. Focus on your outcomes during Discover. Decide on the market journey to build using design thinking techniques. Use low code to capture the 3 pillars. Estimate and size your project. Create a day 1 live plan. Day 1 live? Yeah, I wouldn't want to do anything day 1. Establish a co-production project team. Get ready to start your project. That would probably be like, first couple days, I would imagine. So, I don't know what they mean by the day one live plan there. I would hope that they cover these. So far, they're not really explaining this too much. Um, so maybe they'll go through that a little bit more later. Now, um, I'm not really remembering their three pillars. There's four pillars in object-oriented programming. So the fact that they're saying three pillars here is making me, you know, is automatically kind of putting me towards the four pillars of object-oriented programming. So already I'm having a direct conflict there in that. So, um, but I know that they have a three pillars. I just can't really remember them right at this moment in time. And I'm not quite sure what they are referencing in this again. The fact that they're not even addressing it in this particular topic is kind of irritating, to be fair. Um, okay, so kick off your project during prepare. Validate the overall project plan. Confirm the application design. Use DCO. What was it? Oh gosh, I was trying to remember it yesterday. I'm just not remembering it today. To create 2 sprints worth of user stories. Create your product backlog, establish governance structures, execute your co-production enablement plan. Build with speed and agility. Um, Iteratively build and test using the three pillars. What three pillars are you referring to again? Um, ID, Ideation sessions and lean usability testing. Create user stories for future sprints using DCO. Business testing and sprint. Use Pega's automated testing tools. Implement Pega DevOps. And then deliver your outcomes during adopt. Make sure the application is ready to go live. Prepare the business. Complete your user adoption plan. Release retrospective. Handover to BAU. What is BAU? I'm not sure what BAU is. Analyze performance, plan your next MLP. So discover. Um, I'm glad that they kind of did, like the keywords that are color coded a little bit. So, and they're kind of um, continuing it down there so you can, discover, prepare, build, and adopt. They just didn't really do that here. So, um, in the discover phase, your team uses design thinking techniques to clarify the desired outcomes. You define your minimum level product and get ready to begin your project. During prepare, your team designs a solution and creates a product using backlog using Scrum best practices. You also establish governance and enable your team. In the build phase, you iteratively configure and test your application. Use Scrum project management methods with Pega's low-code platforms and out-of-the-box tools. Pega Express best practices are built into platforms like App Studio or Next Best Action Designer to define application components and prioritize MLPs quickly, or minimal level product. Adopt phase readies your application for production and prepares the business for transition to business as usual. During adopt, you analyze application performance while planning your next MLP release, or minimal level product release. So, and obviously that's false. Um, Test is part of build. So, um, oh yeah, I'm going to kind of take a screenshot of this here and send it in and go, why? All right, save that. Screenshots, Pega. All right. Okay, I want to take kind of like a screenshot of this, but just kind of reference it. You know, not necessarily. I don't necessarily need to send it in to them because for the most part, this is this is good. Okay, I like this graphic. Okay, because not only are they talking about the specific phases of it, but they also kind of describe what the ideas behind each of those sections. Okay, what they do up here, this is I don't know. I don't like this at all. This is pretty much kind of useless, to be honest. Because you're already kind of repeating everything down here for the most part. Okay, this is more information that I'm interested in versus what they're saying up here and repeating up here and all that. So, um, now don't get me wrong, it having repetition helps in that you have um, you're kind of hammering home the fact that hey, there's four phases, four phases, four phases. That's perfectly fine. I appreciate that. Okay. Um, but um, there's the right way of doing things, and I feel like there's the wrong way of doing things. So, um, so, all right. Let me suggest an edit here on this. 1 second while I. Um, so this topic, I feel needs work. First off is the top graphic. Um, while you might have it color coded, um, it doesn't really have any additional connections between what's on the left versus the graphic on the right. Um, um, I appreciate the bottom post graphic because it not only shows the four phases, but it further this describes four phases. Topmost graphic and sentences directly below it, I feel needs a full rework. I included a screenshot of the image and sentences that I feel needs to be redone. Um, because it isn't going into details of what each phase is really all about. The bottom graphic pretty much does that already. However, there are topics uh, discussed in the bottom graphic that I'm not 100% on right at the moment. Here, let me. Like, what is the day one life plan? What is the co-production project team? What are the 3 pillars again? Which again makes me think of the 4 pillars of object-oriented programming. So I really wish you picked a different word than pillars. Um, what are governance structures? What is BAU? What is user adoption plan? I mean, there's a lot here that, you know, they're like, they're hitting you with all these keywords and stuff like that, but I don't remember them ever covering any of these topics in the past 2 missions. Maybe the 3 pillars. I'll probably, I'm, uh, you know, I forgot about them, so I'm not 100% sure about what they mean by the 3 pillars. I will grant you on that one. But a day 1 live plan, has that been covered in the previous 2 missions? I don't remember it. I don't remember them ever talking about a co-production, whatever co-production project team is all about. Maybe they did, but it was like maybe a one-time thing. But they really should reintroduce that in this particular section if they're going to be talking about it. Um, uh, BAU, what's a BAU? User adoption plan, what the hell's that? Um, Governance structures, not quite 100% sure on what that is all about. Um, Ideation sessions and lean usability testing, I can understand that a little bit. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much um, everything kind of covered there for the most part. Um, Maybe discuss them right below the graphic again, or maybe provide links to the modules that discussed them prior. If they were discussed prior. Um, um, hopefully this helps in helping someone in the future with a potential confusion. Okay. What I want, I want to come back to this first off. Okay. I do want to come back to this because I feel like um, there's details here that I want to try to now I want to try to find and see, did they actually go over these details in the past? Okay, if they did, then it kind of falls to me in that I didn't really learn them the first time through. Okay, and that could be totally possible there, folks. Okay, um, but here's the thing: could a lot of these topics been covered like on the very first day of my very first day, very first um, video of this Pega Academy preview, of the very first mission? Could that have been the case? If so, they didn't really they didn't really help in um, solidifying that structure for me. Okay, laying in that foundation for me to really kind of, understand the three pillars, to really, you know, punch in day one live plan, to punch in the co-production project team. What is BAU? I don't remember that. I'm not quite sure what that is. That kind of thing. Now, DCO was introduced yesterday, so not much I can really say about that. That's once again, I'm not, I have, I didn't get that, solidified in my memory. Okay, so that's on me. But um, but still, this is there's some details here that it's like, okay, what are these all about? You're talking about details here that are great. They might be fantastic in terms of what you're showing here. You know, but I don't know what they are specifically. You know, you know. I can maybe make an educated guess, but that's the problem. I don't necessarily want to guess. I want to understand what they are talking about on it. Okay, you know, I can guess what a co-production project team is all about. But here's the thing. I want to know what a co-production project team is consisting of. You get what I'm saying? You know, I can make an educated guess as to what it's all about, but I don't remember what a co-production project team is all about. Okay, and I feel that that's the failing of the Pega Academy. They really need to be kind of hitting home on some of these topics here. You know, sometimes you need to repeat some of these key words over the lifetime of you know of the learning. Um, you know um, it's like the ABCs kind of thing. You're learning your ABCs. You're repeating your ABCs over and over and over again. Okay, and then you start building the words from those ABCs. You're reusing the letters over and over and over again, so you get to understand, you know, what those are all about. And then you start going, okay, well, what is the ordering of my ABCs? And that takes you right back to the original ABC, ordering, right? You know, um, W comes before X, that kind of thing, right? Um, whale comes before xylophone in order, that kind of thing. You get what I'm saying, right? Um, you build off of the previous foundation and you keep on going from there. Okay, you reinforce your foundation over and over and over again so that you get to a point where you're understanding everything that has been presented to you in the past. So design focused delivery methodology. There's only 2 questions in this module quiz. Okay. I feel like they could have done a lot. Oh my god. Are you kidding me with this? Are you seriously? Are they stupid or something? Are they literally stupid on this? What? Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm gonna um wow. What the hell is this question? You are trying to have them reconstruct the graphic by placing them in the right spots. However, the images provided gives you the answer. Because it shows the Pega symbol in the middle it is shown with the prepare, discover, etc. Redo this question. It insults my intelligence. Oh my god. Huh. I wonder where this should go. Maybe up there. Oh, I wonder where this should go. Maybe down there. I wonder where this should go. Maybe right there. I wonder where this should go. Maybe right there. Check answer? Hey, I got it right. God. Oh, how stupid this was. Oh my god. I'm sorry. The fact that they have this right here in the center tied in with these graphics automatically ruins the entire process. Okay? The, if they really wanted to make this better, they should have the Pega Express already in there. They should have these little swirly watermarks already there. Okay? The only thing that they should give you over here is these graphics. And that's it. You know, um, the fact that you have these even curved edges here is kind of an indicator as what you can potentially do as well. This is the worst question ever. My God. Okay. All right. So let me go back to this here. Let me recapture the image because I don't have that anymore. There we go. Okay. Now I want to do a search for the keywords that are there and see if I can find it. So first off, let me do day one live plan. Um, Pega Express delivery. Are you kidding me with this? There is a mission for Pega Express delivery that they've already built to discuss the day one live plan, and they don't include it. Okay. I wanna. Okay, we have the discover phase. Supposedly you have the day one plan here within the discover phase, right? Okay, three pillars. Okay. There's the three pillars that they're talking about. Microjourneys, cases and strategies, personas and channels, data and interfaces. I gotta remember that. I don't really like them calling it pillars, but whatever. Okay. That's the way they went with, but yeah, as a programmer, that's, the fact that they use pillars there is confusing to me. Whenever I hear pillars, I think of the four pillars of object-oriented programming, which is something that gets beat into you, you know, when you're studying any kind of programming. Okay, um, if you're doing any kind of object-oriented programming whatsoever, Java, C++, you know, um, the four pillars are beat into you over and over and over again, so that you understand what they're all about. Okay. Um, so to say three pillars there is just gonna, my brain does a does a connect differently, and well, you know, so um, maybe not pillars, but what can I call what else can I maybe call them? The three pedestals. The three pedestals: microjourney, cases and strategies, personas and channels, and data interfaces. The three pedestals. So so there's the three pillars. Okay. Um, create a day one live plan. Okay. Well, you're not discussing what that day one live plan is all about. Prepare doesn't help. Here, let me go back to the mission here. Um, oh my gosh, look at all this. Look at all this. This could be covered in the business architect topic. You're barely touching upon it, and here's like a more in-depth um, viewing of what goes into Pega Express. This is what's missing. What is a day one live plan? Perfect. Already, very first sentence. Day one live plan focuses the entire team on the vision of the first release. Perfect. You know, the this day one live plan is not descriptive enough to describe what, vision of the first release would have done. You know, vision of the first release is a lot more descriptive Then day one live plan. At least that's in my particular opinion. So, I don't know if you guys agree with me on that, but that's what I'm seeing right at this moment in time. So, um, I mean, look at all the information that is provided here on the day one live plan. This should be covered for a business analyst. Um, it's not really covering the co-production project team. Um, Co-production. Nope, not here. Okay, here. Let me do just a regular search. So, but keep this in mind. This mission for Pega Express. For anybody that wants to do the business analyst, there's a mission out there for you. I'll go ahead and make a note of it myself because I may go back to it. There is a mission for Pega Express. Uh, Goes in depth into it all. Not sure why it isn't included in the business analyst mission. Because I would personally enjoy having that Pega Express mission because it goes in depth into everything that is, about Discover, about Adopt, about Build, about Prepare, you know, and that probably would have like really hammered home every little last detail about it, and that probably would have been, that would be probably fantastic for a business analyst to know what is Pega Express. So the fact that you only have like one module that barely touches upon it, you're being you're not providing a service to your business analysts by not providing that information to them. So at the very least, they should at least mention the fact that there is another mission available to them to review. So I'll double check those topics and see, if it does get addressed somewhere. Like they typically have like links down at the very bottom, but we'll find out. Okay, so co-production project team. Okay, they're talking about and that it's somewhere potentially in here, but I'm not sure about that. Um, Here's that governance. keyword that I was kind of wondering about. Projects encounter issues and changes from many sources throughout the lifecycle. True. The team must adapt rapidly to stay on track and deliver successful business outcomes. Also true. Project governance is a framework that allows the project to respond to challenges and change in a timely, controlled, and transparent manner. Gotcha. Make sure that the project team adjusts to unforeseen circumstances in a way that is visible and aligned across all the project stakeholders. So, okay. That was under the prepare phase, establish governance structures. Um, Now, how to create governance structures, I'm not quite sure what they're referencing there. But I'm assuming that, that's what this is all about, kind of thing. You know, designing like a framework to, contain a set of policy, processes, and standards across the project to address day-to-day issues and so on and so forth. So if you do have, a change in some fashion or another, then one of these will step in and go, oh, don't worry, well, we'll handle that risk that that just popped up or something along those lines. So, um, what I would love to see would be like maybe you know, um, like an example of it. You know, what would be a mock governance structure that they're talking about here. So, okay. But that didn't really help me in the co-production team. Um, Direct capture of objectives. I I need to remember that. Direct capture of objectives. Direct capture of objectives. Direct capture of objectives. Direct capture of objectives. um, there's BAU, which I was kind of leaning towards business architect, but what is U? That's my question. And once again, they haven't really. I haven't really seen anything in terms of the what a co-production team consists of. So let me go back to like one of the first missions and see if there's like maybe something there that was kind of covered that maybe um, mm, no, no, I'm not really seeing it there. Or at least not. There, or at least nothing absolutely screams that it will, actually contain the the topic on which, on what I'm looking for. So, so I don't know what they mean by co-production project team is all about. Let me see what BAU is all about. Okay, well, apparently it's an acronym that isn't really used very often. Um, Business as usual. What the fuck? Why create an acronym for that? Are you kidding me on this? And what the hell do they mean by hand over to BAU? Hand over to business as usual? What the fuck? What? I. Okay. I don't. Okay. That's. That's downright stupid. Don't. Business as usual. It, it, why create an acronym for something silly as that? Really? It's like, I swear it's one of those things where it's like, the comedy skits where people are like going, "Hey, I'm gonna, we're only gonna speak in, you know, you know, we're only gonna speak with acronyms, and that's it." You know, it's like, my God, this is unnecessary. You want to know why it's unnecessary? Because BA is already being discussed about how, BA is associated with business analyst. Okay. The fact that you tag on a U there for business as usual is making you confuse, potentially confusing you about business analyst. They're going to look at this and go, I was thinking business analyst. What the fuck is this all about? Get rid of this. Get rid of that. That's unnecessary. It's pointless. Oh. Yeah, plus, the handover to business as usual doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Just stop. They're just that stop. You know, when I look over at that and say hand over to BAU, okay, which is in that graphic, by the way. I'm referencing that graphic again. Okay, that it kind of leads me to believe of like, hey, you know, here's this envelope, hand it over to, the manager or something along those lines. Hand it over to someone live, hand it over to a business, hand it over to, you know, um, hand it over to a client, something. Okay. BAU is it just plain old bullshit. It's like, what the fuck? Not there. Unless they've like, reused BAU in different scenarios. Nope. Business as usual. Pathetic. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that at all. I don't know why they're even doing this business as usual bullshit. I don't know. That's, excuse my French, but still, it's, what the hell? What are they doing here? The fact that they don't even reference it that often is also another sad part of of all this. It's an acronym that barely gets used, so just take it out. Just don't don't use it. Don't bother with it. You know, change up the name or something like that. Change up the BAU into something else. Business as usual doesn't make any sense in context of handover. Handover to business as usual. What are you talking about there? It's like, if you said handover to client, then that works because, hey, it's under the adopt. You know, you're handing it over to the client. Done. You know, that is that is enough said about the whole adopt portion of it. Okay, that is more that is clearer than hand it over to business as usual. Eh, okay. Well, um, what else was there on that I was kind of confused about? Um, yeah, I don't think there was anything more. Okay, so, um, here I need to write this down. BAU business as usual because here's the thing. Here's the problem that you may face in the certification. They may reference BAU, but they don't give you the context of it. They won't tell you, they won't say business as usual in the question. They'll shorten it down to BAU, and you are stuck trying to interpret the question to the point of figuring out what is needed to answer it properly. Okay. That's why on one hand, I find some of these acronyms to be downright stupid and annoying and should be gotten rid of completely, um, because they don't necessarily make any kind of sense. Um, but there are other times where it's like, you know, um, um, you're potentially going to be seeing it, um, on the questions themselves. Okay. You know, Like what is DCO? What is the three pillars? Okay. Now, granted, the questions that they will give you, um, will give you the a multiple choice, right? So, um, maybe, you know, they may say something like, what is BAU? And then they go, business as usual, or business analyst university, business analyst usual, or something, right? And you have to kind of look through them and see like which one of them is, the correct, um, is correct, right? They may give you DCAO and give you like four different choices in there, and basically say, well, do you remember it as directly capture objectives? You know, so um, so you know if make yourself some notes. Figure out um, if you're struggling about something, kind of go back through over those and try to like find some way of learning them somehow. Okay. Um, because um, you know the um, I don't feel like they are doing a good job in really kind of um, beating some of these concepts in my head at least. Now, granted, I'm no spring chicken anymore, so you know it's a little bit harder for me um, to kind of get things kind of solidified in my brain. Okay. Um, you know, there are times where I kind of wish I was kind of Neo and hey, I learned everything and I retained everything, kind of thing. But good old Matrix. But yeah, no, that's not the case. So, um, they when you're doing with the certification, they will throw these concepts at you, and you're gonna need to um, be absolutely 100% certain about um, what you're doing, what you're working on, you know. Um, so, well, that's gonna be it for today's Pega session. Sorry for a little bit of a rant there. Um, I know that they covered over the three pillars, and I know that, the people that are working at Pega, they're probably going to be like going, okay, um, you need to memorize the three pillars. It's everything about Pega, kind of thing, right? Um, but I mean, like maybe have the three pillars like right at the very top of the site. Something that I can see. I mean, they have a graphic for it. Put it at the top of the site. Fill in this um, blank area up here, this white space, with the three pillars. you know, or something, you know. Have it, you know, visible, you know, something that I can look at every day, that I can kind of get it in my brain every single day, you know. Now, granted, you know, if a question comes along and says, you know, what are the three pillars, then obviously that graphic doesn't really help. But still, um, if it's something that is key to the overall structure of the entire Pega process, then I feel like it really should be something that kind of gets drilled into you. Okay. Um, you know, you need to march to the point of getting the three pillars established in your brain to understand, you know, what it's all about. So, um, but again, you know, that's me. Someone, hey, you know, if you're watching this and you already have the three pillars memorized, then congratulations. Keep on pushing forward, man. Um, so, um, yeah, but I feel as though um, they are giving a disservice here about the Pega Express introduction. By looking up details of the four processes of Pega Express, I came across the mission for Pega Express itself. Why isn't it? Why isn't the mission standard for the business analyst? I would figure that the topics and details shown within the Pega Express mission would be key for a business analyst, but is fairly covered within the business analyst mission. Suggestion: add the Pega Express mission to the business analyst. The fact that they're not even showing the fact that there is a Pega Express mission is a downright travesty. because here's my reasoning behind this. Okay, Pega Express, all these ideas of design thinking and so on and so forth. This is something that a business analyst would be covering, right? Because obviously they're going over it under the business analyst. So, these are clearly, you know, best practice delivery approach, right? So this is something that a business analyst would be working on, working towards, getting something that would be viable for the business. So why isn't it covered more in depth for the business analyst um, topic? You know, this is material for the business analyst. This is something that they should be aware of, that they should learn. Uh, okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and close out on there, folks. If you're watching this and you want to be a business analyst for Pega, do yourself a favor and go over the Pega Express mission, okay? Because um, because most likely you're going to get a lot more information there than you will in this very, very brief introduction of topics. So, um, this you know, Pega Express introduction, sure, great. Now give me the um, in-depth Pega Express, because you're not doing it. And if I want to be a business analyst for a company that is, then most likely they're going to be looking at me and going, okay, so Pega Express, to the T, right? You know, I need you to, and I need you to give me a day one live plan. You know, the company is going to do that to you. Most definitely. Okay. They're going to want you to hit the ground running when you get there. So if you can't do a day one live plan, then they're probably not going to trust you very much. They're probably going to be like going, why the hell did we hire you then? Okay. So the fact that they barely cover it, at all in this introduction is just sad. Okay. And it's not even the fact that, hey, is there another Pega business architect, like veteran or something like that in the certifications? No, there isn't. There's no other certification for a higher version of a business architect. So, um, that's what's so kind of frustrating to me sometimes about the academy. They have all these topics, they have all this knowledge, they have all this wealth of knowledge, and the academy does the bare minimum. That's not what an academy does. Okay, you know, you go to a class about the Civil War, right? Let's say you go to a college, you take a class, and they say, okay, you're taking a class on the Civil War. Great. Okay, so Civil War, you have the Bull Run, you have Gettysburg, and then you have the end of the war. We're done. Huh? What do you, what? You know, what do you mean? What happened to before? What happened during? You know, what happened after? You know, what was happening with, you know, within the north? What was happening in the south? You know, the economic, you know, problems that were you know, that was happening. You know, what happened in, you know, naval battles, because there was plenty of naval battles that you don't really hear about. You know, you know, the fact that there was talk about, you know, the Confederates getting European help at one point in time, you know, that kind of thing. It's like these are all topics that were all around the Civil War, for example, right? You know, if you were to go out there and say, "Yeah, I'm an expert in the Civil War. I know about Bull Run, Gettysburg, and you know, and General Lee signing the peace treaty." Okay, what about everything else? What do you mean? It's like, you know, that kind of thing, right? So, um, you know, if I'm a Pega business analyst, I should know everything about Pega Express, because apparently that is something that the Pega business architect is supposed to be all about. It is outside of the scope of the first two missions, which were kind of a discussion about what Pega is all about. So Pega Express is, you know, something for the Pega business architect. You're not going to see that for the system architect. So obviously, clearly, it's for, you know, the Pega business analyst to, you know, process the fundamental essential skills needed for analyzing, designing, and creating business requirements specifications in the Pega application. So I feel like they're doing you a disservice if you're covering the business and business architect. So, um, okay, I'm already well over my normal 1 hour videos here, there, folks. So I'm gonna go ahead and close on down this video. Um, you know, give it a like, subscribe, so on and so forth for it. Appreciate it. If you have any kind of questions, feel free to give them down below. If you have any further insights about this particular topic, then please feel free to also give those details as well, because, um, well, Pega Academy isn't really doing it. So, you know, if you're knowledgeable about the business architect and you want to help out your fellow trainees for business architect, then, you know, then please feel free to fill out what you know in the comment section below. And I'm sure that anybody that goes down there and reads them will, you know, love you forever. So, um, especially if they're helpful tips. So, um, so yeah. All right. So, gonna go ahead and close down the recording and take care.